T-minus 1 minute and counting. Four, three, two, one.
Welcome to the flying show with 3,300 feet.
Hello and welcome to this week's Flyer Show, brought to you from the studio at Warnecke. As you can see, we have a developing background. It's going to be changing, but you can watch it evolve with us. So my name's Ian Seeger.
I'm Ed Hicks.
And I'm Dave Calderwood.
And today we'll be talking about an airport closing. Bad news. We'll be talking about an aircraft coming back. Hopefully good news. We're going to take the mickey a little bit out of the CA, but we think they're good chaps with this, and chapesses, obviously, not to offend anyone. Plus there's some change of dates, I believe.
Absolutely.
Something. Right. First of all, however, we have to say a huge thank you to SkyDemon for supporting this. Thank you very much, SkyDemon, and here is their weekly tip.
Hi, I'm Rob from SkyDemon, and here's another top tip.
You might already know that you can pull out the direction indicator while in flight to make it into an HSI, but this tool has another function too. When you've chosen a runway for an approach, the instrument simulates the display of an instrument landing system. While in this mode, you'll see the deflection from the extended center line represented with these dots. By keeping the magenta bar in the middle of the crosshairs, you'll know you're right on track, which we can also see here on the map. Additionally, the time and distance instruments will count you down to the runway threshold. This instrument can be really useful to help you line up early if visibility is bad, or for practicing instrument approach techniques at airfields that don't have a real ILS. It's important to remember though, that being based on GPS, it shouldn't be used as your sole means of guidance.
For more information, check out our website www.skydemon.aero.
Shall we see what the weekend's weather has in store for us?
Evening all, hope that you're doing well this evening. For this weekend's forecast, we're going to use the icon model once again. Look for the times up here in the top right hand corner, and the reason we're using this is it makes it a little bit easier to try and discern where cloud is going to be, but I think mist is going to be a problem as well as we go through the course of this weekend. So this is the chart for Friday morning. High pressure is centred down towards the southwest of the country. Notice the broken cloud. Most cloud northwest Scotland, perhaps northwest parts of England, northern and western parts of Wales. But for most areas, it's going to be fair, and it looks like it is going to be staying that way as well as we go through most of the day. Although do notice that cloud increasing northern England for Wales, for Ireland during the day. Probably looking at bases coming in about 3,000 feet tops at around about 8,000 feet as the high pressure builds. Now, I really like winds overnight into Saturday, and though for Saturday morning, the high pressure is actually centered over the top of us. Now, that's going to allow for mist and fog to be forming. And of course, we look for the areas of clearer skies actually for where that mist and fog is most likely to be. So it looks like it is going to be across many central areas of the country during the course of Saturday morning. It does clear away though fairly quickly during the morning, and then we get back into better conditions. Always probably fairly hazy in places, but generally it looks like being a decent day. Just increased cloud for northwestern Scotland, and some drizzle here making for non-VFR conditions. Most of us though 4,000 foot bases tops at about 6,000 to 7,000 feet. The mist and the murk will be clearing, as I say, through the course of Saturday. Not a bad afternoon. And then we've got light winds again overnight into perhaps a little bit more cloud around Sunday morning across parts of East Anglia. But for many of us under that area of high pressure, it looks like it is going to be a misty, foggy start, particularly eastern, southern Scotland, much of England, much of Wales as well. Perhaps southern England escapes the worst of it, but fog here is a risk for many areas during the course of Sunday morning. That will lift, it will gradually clear away. It leaves us with a murky afternoon for some, but you can see here that for many, actually, broken cloud is the order of the day, and not a bad afternoon. So, all in all, not a bad weekend and one to take advantage of if you can. Now, don't forget my Aviation Weather School Part 1 course is going to be one of these rare classroom-based courses held on Saturday the 15th of November between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. here at Weather School HQ in Wombourne, about 3 miles east of Hackney Green. It'll be super to see you there. A couple of places remain on the course. You can book it now at weatherschool.co.uk or scan the QR code and we'll have a fantastic day of weather together. Whatever you do, have a great weekend. Thanks again for watching. Keep the sun shining. Bye for now.
Hopefully, we should be getting a backside off the ground.
That looks promising. So,
Right, time for some news then.
Yes, yeah.
Dave.
Yeah, our top story this week is about Cambridge Airport, which is to close by 2028. It comes after Marshals of Cambridge, that's the company that owns and runs the airport. They released their latest accounts, and top of their list was to move out of the airport. The reason is because they lost £55 million last year. This is on revenues of £300 million. So not surprisingly, they're concentrating on survival and making the best use of their main asset, which is the 430-acre site where the airport is. We've always known, it's always been on the cards, that they were going to move out of Cambridge Airport and it was going to become a housing estate. That's being chased through as a matter of priority now. And it's going to be called Cambridge East because it's in the east of Cambridge. And they will be moving out by 2028, as I said. There was talk of them moving to Cranfield Airport, but they now can no longer afford that. So we don't know where they're going. There are plenty of current and ex-military airfields in the East Anglia region. But if they're going to be concentrating on property management, property development, which is what they say, then what kind of facilities do they need?
Well, land to build houses on, I would guess.
Well, they've got that already.
Yeah, but that's going to run out once they built houses on it, aren't they?
Well, they say it's a 20-year plan to develop this site. It's a big site, and there's a lot of work to do there. The big problem for Cambridge, like the rest of East Anglia, is water, actually. Several developments in the Cambridge area have been held back because Anglia Water, the local company, cannot guarantee supplies. So that's a big thing to overcome.
well, maybe we should keep it as an airport. Because
Do you know what? That's a great idea.
Fly in some water tankers.
I'm always shocked by the loss, how easy we seem to lose airfields and airports.
Yep.
Because once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah, and Cambridge Airport is well located.
Yeah.
It's on that side of the UK where it's flat and it's easy to fly around. And I think there's probably possibilities if they really wanted to develop the airfield, they probably could, because it's pretty much open countryside out if you go further east. So I don't kind of see them doing that, but there is opportunity there. Yep.
Okay, sad news. Let's have some good news, Ed.
Some good news. Well, the good news is that the Thurston Seafire is back. And I can hear the tumbleweed. Because you're going,
What?
Seafire. It's got to be like awesome.
I know. It's not the Seafire you imagine. So the Thurston Seafire is the seaplane for which success appears to have always just been out of grasp, but it's back for 2025. It traces its roots to the Thurston TA-16 Trojan, which was a home-built amphibious aircraft conceived in the 1970s. The four-seat Trojan had a high-mounted pylon-mounted engine, a retractable gear, 4 seats, and a flying boat hull for water use. The TA-16 Seafire appeared in 1982, didn't get certified back then, reappeared subsequently a few years later, didn't get certified then either, but revitalised Thurston Aircraft hope to change that. and hope to get the aircraft certified and offer 2 versions, one with a Lycoming IF540 and the other with a 230 horsepower Delta Hawk diesel. And because these are modern times, there's also going to be a hybrid electric propulsion system. Thurston are taking orders for delivery in 2028. It starts at $995,000 for a Lycoming.
Wow.
For a Lycoming Seafire. If you want the Delta Hawk powered version, just a smidge under $1.2 million.
That's interesting because that's kind of the price difference between the Delta Hawk and the Lycoming version. And my IF540 is not a cheap aeroplane, is it? A cheap engine.
No, but yeah, But I have many questions.
I have many questions.
And we won't go into it all on camera. But I love it when aeroplanes come back, but if they've not managed to get there in the first place.
Here's a question for the encyclopedia I call Ed.
Yes.
What aeroplanes have come back successfully over time? I mean, you've got to say the 172, 182 when the restart series.
They were successful in the first place, weren't they?
They were.
Yeah. So,
unsuccessful aeroplanes have come back and become successful.
I guess our perennial favourite on Flyer, the Edgeley Optica, never quite achieved success. Often seems to come back, never quite achieve success, goes away.
Yeah.
Till the next time.
There was a 2-seat version. I can't remember what it was called. Not of the Optica, but in the same kind of stable.
Yes.
A 2-seat trainer. I can't remember what that was called.
Ooh. Oh, you mean the Trago Mills?
The Trago Mills, that's it.
Yes,
the
Trago SAH1, which is coming back at the moment.
Funnily enough.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yes. I'd often wonder, when there are aeroplanes that haven't quite achieved success, when someone finds, I'd love to see the moment of surprise when someone opens a box and went, oh my gosh, there's a nearly certified aeroplane in here. We'll be millionaires.
Yes.
I mean, it's got to be a cheaper way to certification if you got one that's got a whole load of work done already.
Yeah.
But I just can't think off the top of my head of anything that's kind of not quite made it, closed down for whatever reason, laid dormant for a little while, and then came back and made a success.
Also, the fact that this is a 1982 design aircraft, which this is 2025. We need something new. We need something that looks a bit
and also
more modern.
I haven't found myself recently going, I feel like we have a shortage of 4-seat amphibians.
No.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Anyway, I wish them luck.
Yes, I wish them luck as well.
Yeah.
So you would have heard on our news story a little while ago that the DFT decided they couldn't be bothered to do a strategy for general aviation. That's not quite what they said for verbatim, but they said there's no strategy for general aviation. However, Civil Aviation Authority have created a strategy for general aviation, which is great news. Amongst that, the paragraph in the introduction somewhere said, quoted, safe, innovative and sustainable GA sector operating with a supportive and proportionate regulatory environment. We decided it was time for the corporate speak checklist. So, buzzers, please.
I have my buzzer.
Here's mine.
Thank you very much. Are they actually going to work?
You doubt our buzzers?
Yeah.
Doubt our buzzers.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to read a couple of phrases, and it's down to you to tell me whether you think those phrases come from the CA strategy document that was recently released. Are you ready?
Yes.
Just start with an easy one. Stakeholder engagement.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, of course, absolutely. Nobody has a stakeholder a document with that stakeholder engagement in it, do they? Another easy one. Strategic, regulatory, and policy influences.
Yes.
I'm not so sure about that.
You're right not to be so sure about that. It is from the CEA, but it's from a different document. Delegate oversight responsibilities.
Not a chance.
No.
Not a chance.
It's in there.
What?
It's in there. Yeah, it's in there. It's part of their strategy. I mean,
Delegate?
I know. Yeah, amazing, isn't it? This is a gimme. This one is adoption of sustainable technologies.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like in this. Enhanced operational efficiency.
Not so sure about that one.
Yes.
Ed, you're right. We can don't break the buzzer. We can have enhanced operational efficiency because we've all got to be efficient when we operate, haven't we? Or something. Strengthen partnerships. That's as close as romantic language as they get, I'd reckon.
Well, strength and partnership. I suppose so.
Sounds a bit wishy-washy.
It does sound a bit wishy-washy, which is why it might be in there. So I'm going to go yes.
You're right. It is in there. It is in there. Strategic. Have we done strategic regulatory and policy influences?
Yes.
I think we have. It's established to facilitate effective engagement.
Once I've got my head around what that means, yes, I guess.
You're both wrong. It is a CA term, but it's not from the GA strategy.
I was going to say they love a bit of
So
engagement.
there you go. So well done, CA, for coming up with the strategy. Well done for ticking almost all of the boxes on the checklist. We look forward to talking to you soon because we just want to check out how it's going. Get a bit more of an update from the good old GA department.
We want to gaze behind the strategy curtain.
We want to gaze. Yeah. Yes. Yes, I can't think of anything suitably corporate enough to say, but let's have a chat. Come for a coffee.
Did they promise not to gold plate anything anymore?
There's no gold plating mentioned in there. And personally, I think they just mothballed the gold plating machinery and foundry. So I'm expecting that to come back. And there is evidence of it coming back in a few places. So we do need to guard against that.
Okay.
Something interesting in the, you remember the old Andrew Haynes days?
The red tape challenge.
The red tape challenge and stuff like that. There was a whole load of cuts, and the CA at one point I think got down to something like 500 employees.
Okay.
Do you know? Guess what it is today?
Well, we're post Brexit, aren't we?
We are.
So we
must have needed more. So 700,
800,
1,600.
What?
1,600 and something or other.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're not all in the GA department though.
No, it's about 3 in there probably.
And they look after drones. Right. Anyway.
Some Lundy news. So next year's Lundy Sunday fly-in is moving its date in the hope that it will be more suitable. It'll find a better date that works better with the weather, because they've had some misfortune with the weather this year. The popular event on the Isle of Lundy off the North Devon coast will be held on Sunday, the 5th of July 2026. So put that in your diary. Pete White, the organiser, said the advantage of moving the date forwards, because now it's at the beginning of July rather than the end of July, is that they'll have room for another stab should the weather go south on them. It's a magic fly-in. You and I have been one year. It's brilliant. You need to be on your game though, don't you? Flying in there, and you need an aeroplane that's suitable. So,
yeah,
but don't let that put you off.
They've had a couple of mishaps over the years, haven't they? But I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to give it a go again. I think what they should do is have Lundy Week.
Lundy Week.
Lundy Week. I think
poor old Pete's going to have to be out there all week.
Pitches temp. There's worse places to be than on Lundy. There's a pub
for a week.
For a week, you can work your way through the menu: beer, spirits, food, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And then people can come and go depending on the weather. A celebration of aviation on Lundy.
Do you remember the year in 2020 when basically Lundy was the only flying event almost in the whole world, and we called it Lunkosh. Maybe it is time for a week on Lundy.
Yeah, that was it.
Well, it's our main feature next, and we've decided to ask what makes a good pilot. This is actually based on something we read in the EAA, that's the American version of the LAA-ish. Yeah. On their website, they have something called Hangar Talking, and a chap called James Weiss put together his list of what he thinks makes a good pilot. His key word when putting his list together was diligence. He thinks a diligent pilot is a good pilot, and basically that's a lot of checklists. And
that seems like quite a generic word to apply to flying.
I mean, how many people do you think there are who say that again? I'm a pilot. I don't think I'm going to be very diligent.
No, it is a good list. It is a very good list, and it's very thorough. But it may not be everything, of course.
No.
No, we've had a discussion about this. What do you think, Ian?
Personally, I think it's about decision making. I think that is the big difference. I think if you're a licensed pilot, you've had your flight test or your check ride or whatever it's called in the States. So you've demonstrated that you can fly and that you can take the right decisions. If you flew every single flight you ever flew afterwards to the same standards that you flew your flight test, your GFT, then you're going to be fine. I mean, the thing is we need to broaden our horizons and do other things, and you're kind of left on your own to a certain extent to do those. But I personally believe that many accidents, the majority of accidents are caused by what's in the pilot's head rather than what the pilot's doing with his or her hands or what the airplane's doing with its systems. So decisions.
And that's, like you say, that starts almost from the if you're going flying on one day, then the moment you wake up,
Yeah, exactly.
there's a bunch of decisions you're going to be making towards you going flying.
Someone should probably write a very big feature one day about every single decision in a flight, starting from waking up that day, because it does. And actually, I hope most of us, if we're doing anything significant, will have checked the weather
the day before.
The day before, anyway.
Yeah. Well, in his defence, James Weiss, who wrote the original article, does start with this mnemonic called himself.
I'm safe.
Himself.
Which basically is running through some items which are to determine whether you personally, the pilot, are safe to go flying. Yeah.
I did actually read that. I thought there was kind of some strange decisions in there. It's like, have you recently got divorced or something like that?
Not today.
Not today, no.
Not today, but
But
I had a car crash on the way, but it's not on that list, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, I know. There are factors sometimes, aren't there, that people don't consider impact their flying, but they do.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, what's your item, Ed?
Well, it kind of follows on from Ian's kind of decision making, and I thought it's the ability to remain calm. Flight training is intense, isn't it? And it does stress out student pilots. We've all been in the learning situation where it's like, oh my God, I've just about managed to learn to fly the aeroplane. I'm okay with that. And then someone says, how about do this task or do that task? And all those tasks just make it hard for you. And it can make you not keep a cool head. And the trick, I think, with flying is not panicking if you get situations that you need to deal with. Keep a cool head, stop your mind racing. That's a key factor to a successful flight. It's more difficult to make rational decisions when times are tough.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have a capacity bucket, don't we? And if you're load, it doesn't matter how good you are, your capacity bucket can still fill up.
Yeah.
And at that point, it makes every decision, every action is really tricky because you're just completely and utterly overwhelmed.
Yeah, and I think remaining calm, it's like so many things in flying. Some planning will help you be calm later on, and thoughts and processes that you can decide for. Of pilots I've come across, some of the best ones have been the guys that make it look effortless, and I think it is that calm. It's that absolute calm nature sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I think achieving that calmness comes down to having good handling skills, aircraft handling skills. So we always use this phrase: aviate, navigate, communicate, and being able to fly the aircraft is the simple, most important thing.
Yeah.
I think you need to be at one with the aircraft. You need to know where everything is and how it works, and you have to develop the muscle memory so you know just how much input to put in to achieve certain things. And knowing how the aircraft will react and where the limits are of the aircraft, where your own limits are to some extent as well, but where the aircraft limits are. And really, if you remember, if you've ever been for, say, a 2-week flying trip, something like that, or even a week, and you've flown every single day, there comes a point where everything clicks, everything goes smoothly, everything really works, and you've got that capacity for extra mental load is eased by the fact you can fly the aeroplane. You don't have to run through mental checklists in your head all the time. You just know it.
You can stay ahead of that thruster.
That's right. Well, you kind of, if you like, you can sense when you need to put a bit of carb heat in because you can. You just feel
is there someone like mowing the frickin' lawn out there or something?
It does sound like it.
Yeah.
So you were saying, Dave, for you, handling.
It's all about what I think is the muscle memory. So you know where everything is, how far you've got to reach, how much input you need to put in, what kind of reaction you're expecting back, and how to deal with that. And that just gives you capacity to deal with everything else.
It's when things become second nature, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, good. Well,
You are, yeah. If one of the things that we've raised has resonated with you, tell us in the comments. Likewise, maybe you have your you have your top thing for what makes a great pilot. Tell us in the comments too.
Club news, right? Okay, some of you people watching this won't be members of the Flyer Club. Now, we want to help you. Join the Flyer Club because you will get so much more out of your aviation life, apart from getting fantastic free landings, which are
Perth, Leicester, Audley End, and Goodwood. So a real spread around the country. And if you do all of those, you'll save £52.
And you know what? If you do them all in the month of October, let us know, prove it, or buy your lunch at Wadswick.
Oh my gosh.
But seriously, seriously, becoming a member of the Fly Club is kind of what we need to carry on. We'd like to have you on board. Apart from all of that, you get access to everything we do on our website. You get access to the forums. You get access to all the webinars. We'll talk about webinars in a second. And it costs just £6 a month or £62 a year. So it's a billy bargain when you think of all the free landings you get, plus all of the other benefits. So do us a favour, go to flyer.co.uk/membership and sign up and join. Talking of webinars, Ed, I believe you're going to star in the next one.
I think I've got the next one on the 28th of October when I'm talking about air-to-air photography, because it's something I've done a little bit of in the 30-plus years I've been doing stuff. I know, yeah. So we'll be talking about that, and I guess if you're in it for looking at pit photos, you'll see a few photos of Ian.
So that's not a reason to avoid it, because I'll be like tiny in those pictures. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to that. Fascinating, and it's a really satisfying thing when it goes really well. It's not something you should do.
No, I need these are tips and tricks for success. Clearly, it's something that you do need to plan for. Don't just decide. It's not a hold my beer moment.
It's not, is it? No, absolutely. Good. Right.
Caught my eye.
Yes.
So the big question of the week is, what caught your eye, Ian?
Well, when I think of Piper aircraft,
yes,
I'm kind of thinking you're going to be the same on this one. You're kind of thinking Piper Cub, PA-28.
Actually,
kind of
when I think of Piper, I think of Pocono.
Pocono. Who's ever heard of it? I mean, I've heard of a Pocono, but only because I've heard Ed talking about it before.
Anyway, yes.
But I don't think of Pocono, funnily enough. I kind of generally think of Cubs or Super Cubs these days, or the PA-28. But I came across an airplane which is known as the Piper PA-48, not the 46, not the Malibu. No. The Piper PA-48 Enforcer, a close air support aircraft. It actually developed from the Cavalier Mustang, from a company called Cavalier Aircraft. And it was called the Cavalier Mustang because it was a development of the Mustang. Basically, it was, okay, here's this Mustang, let's chuck another engine in it, basically a Lycoming turboprop.
Wow.
Who knew that Lycomings made turboprop, apart from Ed, obviously. And Piper built two of them. Cavalier realised that they weren't in a position to go into series production on this.
Yeah.
And they thought there was a good contract to be had from the US military. So they sold the project to Piper. Piper went, let's call it the PA-48 Enforcer. Stuck the engine in, flew about a couple of hundred hours on it. Unfortunately, the US Air Force kind of went, okay, we're not going to buy that. And you'd think that it all went away at that point. But back in, then again in the 80s, 84, someone at Piper persuaded Congress to come up with another $12 million. They went, I know, let's build another two. So they built another two, again with the Lycoming turboprop in it.
Yeah.
It did 300 knots. Not no slouch, better than a Cub, but it's certainly not the fastest thing around. Had a combat range, which I guess means like just burn the gas and get us out of here.
Yeah.
Of like 400 nautical miles, which
Doesn't seem massive.
doesn't seem massive. And again, they flew it and didn't sell any.
Oh, okay.
And so-
It does look like a real brute, though.
It does look like a real brute, doesn't it? And there was 4 of them built. Only 2 survive. One is in the Edwards Air Force Base Museum of Flight Test,
Okay.
and the other one's at Pima in Arizona, Tucson, Arizona.
It's a classic case of great idea, and I wonder whether someone in Piper went, you know what I really fancy is a Mustang with a turbo.
I was going to say, yeah, let's build one.
And it's not a crazy idea because Air Tractor have come up with basically they've taken their Air Tractor ag plane and put weapons all over it, and you go, that's not too far removed from where Piper were heading.
I mean, when you see the Enforcer, You can see there are pictures
There's-
of it
yeah.
like, overloaded
Very
with
loaded
weapons
with
all
stuff.
over the
What
place.
I would like to have seen would have been someone who was involved with purchasing air taxi aircraft going PA-46. That's great. Hey, guys, should we buy a PA-48? That sounds like that would be really...
And
that
even
can
that'll
only-
be even better.
It can only be better. And then they're surprised when it turns up.
Yeah.
Dave.
Yes, well, I spotted a post by German ferry pilot Guido Warnecke, who was ferrying a King Air 360 from Crescent City Airport in California. That sounds very nice, doesn't it? Crescent City Airport.
What was he doing there?
He was picking up a brand new aircraft, this King Air.
Well, they don't make them in California.
For some reason, it was delivered there, and that's where he picked it up.
Okay.
And he brought it back by the usual ferry route to Europe, which is through to Bangor in Maine, Goose Bay in Canada, then to Keflavik in Iceland, before getting back to Europe. That's a standard ferry route, apparently. Two things stood out for me. First of all, the Beechcraft King Air 360, which I think is a fantastic, beautiful aeroplane. If I had lots and lots of money, that would be on the list. It's the latest, biggest, and most powerful version of the King Air. Got a couple of huge turboprops up front. Pratt & Whitney PT6s developing over 1,000 shaft horsepower each. Max cruise speed of 312 knots. Not far off your
That was
Enforcer.
faster than the PA-48 Enforcer.
Yeah.
Probably
So-
a lot more practical too.
Yes. I'd love a King Air.
Definitely
360.
more comfortable inside.
But also, I'd just like to talk a little bit about Guido himself. He's of German descent. He didn't come into flying to running his own company by the usual route. He was trained born in Germany, trained as a mining engineer, first of all, and he got his PPL to fly himself around South Africa, where there were various remote mining operations.
Okay.
And that was all before he started his own aircraft company. He flew bizjets and all sorts of other aircraft, moved location to the States, where he set up his ferry business. And right now he flies about 20 ferry flights a year. That's quite a lot. It's more than one a month, if you think about it. And
Is it?
yeah, well,
I know. I'm joking.
King of maths.
King of- but he does everything. He sorts out every
Yeah.
part of the ferry flight, all the paperwork, all the stops, insurance, everything. And of course, he's just renowned as a safe pair of hands, a very safe pair of hands, when it comes to jumping into somebody else's brand new aeroplane and flying it around the world. He has a fascinating YouTube channel where he produces these videos.
Good stuff.
There's no nonsense on there. There's no wacky music or anything like that. It's just straightforward flying, except he does.
It's not
fly-
like three blokes in the studio, is it?
No.
You mean he doesn't have a TikTok dance either?
Do you know, I haven't discovered his TikTok channel yet. Maybe there is one. I shall have to have a look. But anyway, there's things like, the one I was looking at yesterday was flying a Beechcraft King Air 360 into somewhere in Greenland, full IFI approach, so he couldn't see a thing until about 200 feet from the ground. It was gusting 45, 50 knots. And his videos, they have a nice little feature. Whenever he does something significant during the flight, he enlarges that part of the video. So, for instance, in this case, there was him pressing the BRB, which is the big red button to disengage the autopilot, and then a bit further on, shifting the prop levers into fine just before touching down. He enlarges that bit as well. You kind of do have to have a bit of an inner geek about you to love these bits, but I just think it's fantastic.
Ed, what about you?
Famous test pilots. Give me a name.
John Farley.
Chuck Yeager.
Okay, I'm guessing...
Neville Duke. Do you want any more?
Neville Duke, yeah. You've probably never heard of Fitz Fulton, have you?
Fitz Fulton.
No.
No, I can
Sounds
see.
like a tailor.
Yeah, it's all a bit blank. And he might be one of the greatest test pilots you've never heard of. And I came across him because it was my birthday last week, and I got...
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. I know it was also your birthday last
was.
week too. And I got a Lego set, which was the space shuttle on a 747. I was very excited.
Was this your 12th birthday?
It was my 12th birthday.
Hands up in the comments if you build Lego kits.
Hands up.
Is it big? Is it?
It's quite big.
It's quite big.
It's quite big. It's lots of parts.
What did
I'm
you do
looking
with them
forward
when you
to
built them?
gaze
Okay.
lovingly at them.
You don't take them apart again and put 'em-
That's it. No, well, eventually you do take them apart with the box.
Oh.
Anyway, as an aside, anyway, Fitz had an incredible aviation career that spanned more than 4 decades. And
Building Lego kits.
Building Lego kits. He joined the Army Air Corps flew in the Berlin airlift, did 55 missions in Korea. But his test pilot work is the thing that he would become most well known for, or most unknown for. In May 1952, at 26 years old, he joined Edwards Air Force Base as a test pilot. Flew the B-36 Peacemaker. You know, that big six-piston engines, 4 jet engines, enormous bomber. Flew that. Flew all sorts of different bomber types. Even flew the B-36 carrying an F-84 Thunder Flash aircraft. And it was this aircraft carrying thing that actually became a bit of a signature for him, because he would make a career of flying big aeroplanes, and especially big aeroplanes carrying little aeroplanes, because he was involved with all the X-planes, so X-1 through X-15. He did 150 of the manned aircraft launches. And as a test pilot, he flew all the big bombers. He flew some little bombers too. Famously, he was flying a B-57 once when the controls disconnected. On the radio, they all told him to bail out. He flew the aeroplane back using only the trim.
How do the controls disconnect?
I know. Yeah, well, apparently, reading the little bit I read, it was like almost like a physical disconnection, like it came off in his hands, like things came apart. Bad. But anyway, so he earned a Distinguished Flying Cross for saving that aeroplane. He'd go on and earn 4 of those in total.
Bloody hell.
But in an age of big deltas and swept wings, Fitz flew a whole bunch of stuff. He was chief test pilot on the B-58 Hustler, went on to fly the XB-70 Valkyrie, came to the UK, flew the Vulcan, the Valiant, even Concorde. He told a story. He came to the UK and was bemused at our weather and our willingness to fly in any weather. And apparently some Brit at Boscombe Down went, well, if we didn't test in this weather, we'd never fly. So... project pilot on the B-58 Hustler, set an altitude record, went 85,000 feet, carrying a 5,000 kilo payload. Got the Harmon Trophy for that, which was just one of the many awards he had. He loved the Hustler, said it was his favourite aeroplane. And he said, I've never flown fighters, but the Hustler, with its single seat up front, was as close as he gets. Also flew 100 flights in the SR-71 for NASA, because...
That's got to be the highlight of his career. That's like the best airplane in the entire world.
Well, he'd been a test pilot. In his test pilot work for the Army, they wanted to promote him, and he knew that would be a desk job. So he went, I retire. And literally almost the next day, just showed up in a NASA flight suit and carried on flying the XB-70. Probably most well-known for... Not well known though. He led the 747 carrier aircraft project for NASA with the space shuttle. Most interesting thing I read that he said that his first release, he was astonished by the fact he had to pull on the control column with about 100 pounds of force. Yeah, and you would imagine the aeroplane that it would be the complete reverse. But
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you release the shuttle, and apparently it needs an enormous pull to keep it in level flight.
Wow.
He took the combo to the 1983 Paris Air Show, so I think that might be the biggest display act ever. Shuttle out on a 747. As a GA pilot, he flew Fairchild 24, Cessna 172, and owned a little 2 biplane. And as if he couldn't get enough of test flying, when he retired from NASA in 1986, he then went and did 3 years for Burt Rutan at Scaled Composites. Between his J3 Cub Solo in 1942 and his retirement, Fitz flew 231 individual types and logged 16,000 hours. And he wrote a book called Father of the Mother Planes, because he was acknowledged as the expert for big aeroplanes carrying little aeroplanes.
I'd read that book.
Yeah, he died in 2015, age 89. But really worth Googling, worth wider reading. There's some videos out there as well. Yeah, an amazing guy that pretty much no one knows about.
Events. Well, it's coming up to the end of the season. And in fact, this Saturday, there's the end of season sizzle, which is a fly-in at Popham. Also on
sausages.
Sausages and stuff, yes. Yeah, it's a barbecue. Also on Saturday, the Historic Aircraft Association are having their annual symposium at the RAF Museum in Hendon. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Don't forget.
Don't forget, Pilot Careers Live Dublin is on the following weekend, 18th.
I'll be
And
there.
next week, we have Owain Johns, who's the new CEO of the BMAA. He's coming into the studio. I mean,
He's going to be our first guest on the Flyer Show.
yeah.
Excellent. We'll have more. We will have more guests.
We'll have more.
Great. So thank you for watching. If you've got anything, please like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. It actually makes a significant difference. If you're not a subscriber to the YouTube channel, then please do that. And better still, become a member of the Flyer Club. Flyer.co.uk/membership, £6 a week, £62 a year. Bargain. Thank you.
And don't forget,
Don't
before
forget.
you sign off, we need your videos welcoming us to the Flyer Show. So we don't care whether they're shot in the air, on the ground, on your sofa. The aeroplanes are better.
Yeah, maybe not on your sofa.
But tell us where you are and welcome us to the Flyer Show, because we love nothing better than seeing you out and about having your flying adventures.
There's a few I mean, it's great. There's a few things I love better, but, you know. Anyway, have a great weekend. Have fun. Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Thing with flying is not panicking if you get situations that you need.
Join the Flyer Club today and save hundreds of pounds with your free landing vouchers. Watch insightful monthly webinars from our group of aviation experts and access all the online content on flyer.co.uk. From just £6 per month or £62 for the full year. You can meet new people, fly more and become a better pilot. Join today at flyer.co.uk/membership.